wasn't doing it just for me.
And because of recovery, this moment of clarity, going to the bar.
I love that.
As I sat in that outpatient group again for the 9th time, in the same chair, in the same place, with the same counselor, and when he passed out those worksheets, I looked down at it and I just felt so hopeless and exhausted. And I looked up at him and our eyes met. And I said, I've done this so many times I could teach this. I'm done. Then he looked back up at me and he said, then why don't you do that? Why don't you actually go out and do something with your recovery for the first time in your entire life? And his words hit my heart like a dagger. And I knew I had to change. I knew it. And I let a week go by. That whole entire week, those words were swimming around my head like a great white shark seeking its prey. And I knew I had to make that change. And on that day, I got up and I got in my car and I started to head towards CCAR in Hartford, one of our recovery community centers. And as I got in the car, I started to realize that I used to buy drugs just 3 blocks over. And as I was heading down the highway, I began to get more and more nervous. When I got off that exit ramp and turned onto Weathersfield Avenue, my palms were shaking on the steering wheel. My head was full of racing thoughts. I had a choice to make. And as I sat at that light, my hands started to tremble and shake. My heart started to race faster. And I looked up, waiting for that light to change, and it just wouldn't. I knew I had that choice to make. I was either going to go right and go back to that same utter hopeless despair, or I was going to take a left and actively participate in my recovery. And something happened. I just don't know. All of a sudden, that steering wheel started turning itself left. The power of recovery had entered my life. And as I pulled into that parking lot and parked my car, I knew I was safe. I walked up those old rickety wooden steps of the old Victorian house, and I entered that recovery community center. I had my old typical Hartford County crew cut and my white tank top and basketball shorts that were like 3.5 sizes too big and some old jailhouse shower shoes. And I walked in and everybody could tell I was new. And across the room, I made eye contact with this warm, vibrant man, the spirit flowing from him. And he slowly approached me, and he raised his hand out, and he said, "Hi, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you." And we began a conversation. And in the middle of the conversation, he looked up at me, and he said, "You're going to be a great recovery coach someday. You just don't know it yet." And at that moment, I knew everything was going to be okay. And for the last 3 years, I've been a CCAR Emergency Department recovery coach. I actually went out and did something with my recovery this time.